All right, let me tell you about some good news. Over the last years, we have seen the rise of independent journalists, thanks to things like Substack. Barry Weiss made waves when she left the New York Times, but she's far from the only journalist going solo upon realizing their institution is worthless. Yesterday, Tara Henley, she's a journalist from the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. She's now on Substack as an independent journalist, and I want to read what she wrote. This is her public letter. Those of us on the inside know just how swiftly, how dramatically the politics of the public broadcasting has shifted. It used to be that I was the one furthest to the left in any newsroom, occasionally causing strain in story meetings with my views on issues like the housing crisis. I'm now easily the most conservative, frequently sparking tension by questioning identity politics. This has happened in the span of about 18 months. My politics did not change. This is really important. You have to recognize if you're still, flirting with the Democrats and the left, you have to realize, have I changed or have they changed? She says this is happening in the last 18 months. It feels like it's been going on forever. But she says the last 18 months have been crucial. To work at the CBC in the current climate is to embrace cognitive dissidence and to abandon any journalistic integrity. It is to sign on enthusiastically to a radical political agenda that originated on Ivy League campuses in the United States and spread through American social media platforms that monetize outrage and stoke societal divisions. It is to pretend that the woke worldview is near universal, even if it is far from popular with those you know and speak to and interview or read. To work at the CBC now is to accept the idea that race is the most significant thing about a person, and that some races are more relevant to the public conversation than to others. It is in my newsroom to fill out a racial profile form for every guest you book, to actively book more people of some races and less of others. To work at the CBC is now to submit to job interviews that are not about qualifications or experience, but instead demand the parroting of orthodoxies and demonstration of fealty to dogma. It has become less adversarial to government and corporations and more hostile to ordinary people with ideas that Twitter doesn't like. Let me ask you this question. When is the last time you heard the Democrats talk about big pharmaceuticals? Here we are in the most important time of my life for pharmaceuticals, when they are in the news every single day. And not one media member is questioning the relationship with the government and the pharmaceutical companies. When did big pharmaceutical become our saviors? It's endlessly documenting microaggressions, but pay little attention to evictions, to spotlight companies' political platitudes, but have little interest in wages or working conditions. It's to allow sweeping societal changes like lockdowns, vaccine mandates, and school closures to roll out with little debate. To see billionaires amass extraordinary wealth and bureaucrats amass enormous power with little scrutiny. And to watch the most vulnerable among us die of drug overdoses with little comment. It is to consent to the idea that a growing list of subjects are off the table, that dialogue itself can be harmful, that the big issues of our time are already settled. That is so important to understand. The big issues are not settled. The one thing about science is it is just our understanding, our best understanding at the time. When new information comes in, that should be updated. As we are now seeing them do because of Omicron. It's over. It is over. We'll get into that here in a second. It is to capitulate to certainty, to shut down critical thinking, to stamp out curiosity, to keep one's mouth shut, to not ask questions, to not rock the boat. This while the world burns. How could possibly any good journalism be done under such circumstances and conditions? How could any of this be healthy for our society? All of this raises larger questions about the direction that North America is headed. Questions about this new movement we are living through and its impact on the body politic, on class divisions and economic inequality, on education, mental health, literature, comedy, science, liberalism, and democracy. These questions keep me up at night. I can no longer push them down. I will no longer hold them back. This Substack is an attempt to find some answers. Journalists, you must save journalism. Journalism is really important. And you have buried it with your silence. And that's at best. That's at best. For those of you who really do understand journalism and fairness and critical thinking and the importance of asking questions, especially to those with power, this is your year. This is absolutely your year. Do something with it. Make this a New Year's resolution to not be part of the machine anymore.